Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Welcome to another episode of the Bookpreneur. I am Audrey Bell-Kearney, the Bookpreneur, and I'm happy to be here with you today. So today we're going to be talking about what is it that you're willing to give up? What's the sacrifice you're willing to make to be a bookpreneur? Listen, this is about business. We're in 2025. It's about business. I want to know what you're willing to give up to be a bookpreneur. So you stick around. I'll be right back right after this.
Stepping to the edge now, heart beating so loud. Sky's calling my name, time to play the game. Feet leave the ground now, hope I won't fall down now. Trust.
Welcome back. Welcome back. It's 2025, y'all. It's 2025. I want to know what you're willing to give up to be a bookpreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for 27 years. I can't see myself doing anything else, but I have had to make some sacrifices over those 27 years. I sacrifice to this day. And so I want to know what is it that you're willing to give up to be a bookpreneur. Now, the one thing I can say is that it's exciting being a bookpreneur, but it's a business at the end of the day. And you're going to have to give up something, and you have to be at peace with whatever it is you're going to give up. So for me, I can tell y'all the story when I first started, and I won't tell the whole story, but I can tell you the part that really shook me. And I had to think about how I did things, and I had to reframe some things. So when I first started out, my daughter was about 7. When I got really serious about my business, she probably at that point was about 8. And during that time, she was in school. And I remember the teacher calling me and saying, "We need you to come into the school." So I'm thinking, well, she's a good kid. So what's wrong? So when I get to the school, the teacher said, "She's slipping in her grades." And I'm like, why? Right. Well, they said, because you work too much. My daughter had told them that I'm always working. She was about 8 years old. I felt like the worst parent ever. So, what was I giving up for my dream? What was I giving up to do the business? I was giving up that valuable time with my daughter. And even though I was doing it for her, she didn't understand that. She was 8 years old. All she knew is that I worked all the time. I gave up my personal life. I didn't hang out with my friends like I used to hang out. I used to hang out a lot. I used to party a lot. I stopped partying with my friends. I was working when my daughter was home. So what I had to do was make a pivot. I had to pivot, right? I had to change. So what I would do is when she was home, I would get up in the morning. First of all, I didn't go to bed till probably around 3 o'clock. So I would go to sleep to about 6, get up, take her to school, come back, start my day, work until she got out of school. When she got out of school, it was just mommy and me time. She had to go to bed by 8 o'clock. When she went to bed at 8 o'clock, I started all over again. I didn't have a social life. I still don't have a social life, which is kind of crazy. I still don't have a social life to this day. And it was funny because I was talking to one of my friends earlier, and I was like, yeah, this year I'm gonna have some fun. I'm gonna have a life because I still don't have one. Because I sacrifice that part of my life for my business. However, I'm not going to do that this year. That has been my goal. I want to enjoy my life because here's the thing, life can be short. And I don't want to think that I spent so much of my life working and not enjoying my life. So my goal is to have a good time, have some balance, right? You can have balance. Some people say you can't have balance, but you can. Have some balance, right? So I can have time with my family, my friends, go out, do fun things, and have a good time. And so I started out this episode because we are at January 1st. So you may be listening to this later on in the future. But I felt like we needed to have this conversation because if you are seriously thinking about selling books and being a bookpreneur, it's going to take a lot. If you're looking at this thing like a business, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot of you sacrificing. It's going to take a lot of long hours. It's going to take a lot of research. If you don't have the capital to put the money behind the marketing, it's going to take a lot of you putting in a lot of time. See, here's the thing, money is the great equalizer, right? Because if you have the money, the capital to invest in your business, all you got to do is find the right people and let them do the thing that you don't want to do or know how to do. And you pay them. That gives you back some of your time. Money is a great equalizer. But if you don't have that money, like I didn't have money back then like that. I didn't, I was a single parent. I had bad credit at the time. I had no money and I was trying to start. Not only was I trying to start a business, I was trying to start a business and I started it. And remember what I just said? I had bad credit, no money, and I quit my job to run the business. I was starting a business in manufacturing of all things outside of the country. Took an idea in my head, turned it into a product, sent my idea to a manufacturer in China. They sent me back the product that was in my head, right? No money, no experience, no credit, just me with a big idea. That's all it was. And so I didn't know, I didn't have the money, so I had to learn how to do PR. I had to learn how to do websites. I had to learn how to do marketing. I was what the cook, the bottle washer, the cook, the bottle washer. I was all of those. Georgette handled all of the creative side, the hair for the dolls, the makeup, the clothes. I could care less. I needed to know about how we're gonna market, how we're gonna sell it, what doll store we need to be in. That's what I did. But I had to learn all of that because we didn't have any money. We didn't have a team. We couldn't pay anybody. So I had to learn that if you have the capital, you may not have to sacrifice so much of your time, but you're going to have to give up something. Even if you don't have the money, you got to give up the time. If you got the money, you're going to give up the money. And in some cases, you're going to give up both. The question is, what are you willing to give up? I could tell you right now, I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and she had some really major decisions to make about some things that she was working on. And I was like, look, you got to think about this because I had to give up time with my daughter, you know. Um, at this stage in our life, we got grandkids. I know I don't look like it, right? But I have a grandkid, I have a granddaughter, and I don't want to give up so much of my time with my granddaughter. And I asked her, do you want to spend time with your grandkids? You know what I'm saying? Because and I work a lot. I don't have a life. My daughter called me a hermit. She tells me I don't have enough balance. And all of that stuff is still true. I'm way more flexible than I was back then because I have way more time to be flexible. When I was in my 100% grind, I didn't have that kind of time. I was a single parent. I was trying to make it work. Now I'm a grandparent, so I have a little bit more flexibility. I love what I do. So it doesn't seem like work to me. But for you just starting out, and you're starting out in a space where, people got to figure out who you are. They got to read your book and know if they like your writing. You got to get out there and meet folks. If you are an introvert, you definitely need some money. Because if you're an introvert, it's going to be hard for you to market that book and be a bookpreneur if you're afraid to get out and talk to people and meet people. So you're going to have some capital to help you push your book forward. Now, if you're not an introvert, you got to figure out where can I go and put this book. I did a back in November. I think it was November. It might have been in October. Anyway, the library had a program that they do just for the local authors. It was free. So we were invited to come over and we could display our books, and that was a great thing. If your library does not offer that, go and present it to them. Hey, over in Georgia, in Gwinnett County, Georgia, their library has this author thing where they let it's called Authors Day, I think it is, where they let the authors come out for a day and display their books and sell their books. That was amazing. A whole bunch of us were there. Whole lot of us were there. And that was an opportunity for me to be around other authors, for me to ask questions, and for me to sell books. And I sold some books. So, you got to figure out where you need to be. But before you do all of that, you really need to step back for a second and ask yourself, what is it that I want from this book? Is it a business or is it a hobby? If it's a business, then congratulations. It's time for you to step into the role of bookpreneur. If it's a hobby, then it's a hobby. You're just a book hobbyist. That's it. The difference is how much time you put into the project. If it's a hobby, you're only gonna do it like hobby. If it's a business, you need to register the business name, get the correct business licenses, put together a marketing plan, put together a PR plan, set up all the social media, create all the creative assets that's going to take you to market the book. All of these things come into play. Um, the Lyran Legacy. I did the book back in October. I think it was October. It could be September. I lose track. But I did the first book in September, October, right? Marketed it somewhat. I talked about my last episode where I made my first audio book sales. I haven't put a whole lot of work into it because it's not that it's a hobby. It's kind of like a side hustle because my main hustle is my main hustle. My book is kind of like my side hustle. So I donate like 2-3 days a week to that, and then I donate the rest of the time to my main hustle, right? So you have to ask yourself, what do I want this book to be for me? Is it a business? Now, let me say this. I don't know if one book is necessarily going to be a business for you. It could be, but that means you're going to have to do a lot of work. You have to do a lot of work anyway. But when you just got one book, and that could be a good thing and a bad thing. When you got one book, you only got one thing to focus on, that one book. Um, but you got to get out there and meet the people. If you are a fiction writer, you can create a book club around your book, but you got to go out there and find the people. Now, I will tell you this. If you are, even if you're not a fiction writer, but if you are a fiction writer, I used to love meetup.com because meetup.com, when you became a member over there, what they would do is they would push your information out to everybody on the platform. Like, hey, this is a group that you may like. They did a lot of the marketing for you. And it was only like $19. Now it's like $50 almost, which is crazy. They just did this astronomical jump out of nowhere. And everybody's like, what the heck just happened? But I will say this. If you can set aside $45 a month, set up you a meetup.com page, it's going to help you find your people. So if you know that all I can afford to do right now is $45 a month, what you do is you go to meetup.com, you set up your group, and you let Meetup help you market your events, and you bring the people to you. So if you got fiction fantasy, if you know that those people like fiction fantasy, then you do some virtual events online, and you do some in-person events. Find a cafe. Like there's a cute little cafe here in Gwinnett, in Lawrenceville downtown. It's free. Like anybody can go there, and it's in a house. So if I get there quick enough, I can get one of those rooms and have my event for free right in the room. Now other people can come into the room, but that's fine because those are people who probably didn't see my meetup or my advertising. So sure, come on in. All are welcome because my goal is to make you aware of my book, right? You got to think about it as a business. If you're trying to be a bookpreneur, you got to figure out, what am I giving up? How serious am I going to be about this thing? Is it a hobby or is it going to be a business? And when you look at it from that perspective, you got to start to put things in line. Like, okay, this is going to be a business. What do I need to do? I need to put together the marketing plan. I need to make sure I got a website. At very least, have a landing page for the book. At the very least, you know, Amazon is not your landing page. It is a book distributor for your book. So you have to think about those things. Who can you connect with in your community that can help you push the book? Is it a library? Is it a cafe? Is it a co-working space? You have to think about all of these things because it's your baby. You're going to be a bookpreneur. It's your baby. You got to give it all you got. And that's how you got to think about it. We're in a new year, and I know for some people it's just another day, but for me, it's like starting over every year, right? It's exciting because I'm getting rid of the old, I'm starting with the new. So for me, and I'll tell you what I'm doing for my book, it's a side hustle because it's not my main hustle, but it's not a hobby either, right? It's my side hustle. So for my book, The Lyran Legacy, I'm creating chapter movies this year. 20 of them. I got 20 chapters in the book. I'm creating 20 chapter movies. I'm going to put it on the Bookpreneur video channel under a playlist that says The Lyran Legacy, right? So it's going to be there. Then I'm going to put out book number 2 in March. So book number 2 is going to come out in March. I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, it's 8 books in the series. I'm going to do the same thing over and over. So this year I'm putting out 3 books, which will get me to 4. Then next year I'm putting out 3 books, and then the following year I'm going to put out 2. So I'm putting out 3 more books this year. The next one is coming out in March. I'm going to put out one probably in August, and then the last one is probably going to come out in December. And then I'll start all over next March. But for each one of those books, I know that I don't have that much time, so I'm going to create chapter movies for each one of them, and I'm going to set them up on my Bookpreneur YouTube channel, and I'm going to have a playlist for each one of the books because that's my way of telling the story about my books. I'm going to link it to my Amazon. I'm talking about it on this video right here. So I'll be doing I'm going to go to book fairs because I like book fairs. I like book fairs. I'm going to go to book fairs. I'm going to go to conferences. I'm speaking at Podfest. I'm going to have some stuff about my book at Podfest. This in a couple of weeks I'm going to be in Orlando speaking about podcasting and writing books. So my talk at Podfest is about writing your first fiction book. That's what my talk is about. Why? Because I've done that with AI. So that's what my talk is about. My talk is about at Podfest. So I'm gonna be doing. So that's for me. That's my business. I'm out telling people what I do. I got together my marketing plan, and I try to keep that simple because my main business takes up a lot of my time. So I want to make sure that even though my bookpreneur business is not, and it's under the umbrella of my company, it's not like it's a separate business. I have a media company. So publishing falls right up under the company, but my books just happen to be a separate division of my company. So for now, I'm working on the books and I have a plan for the books. I'm working on the podcast and I have a plan for the podcast. I have a news site called Good Morning Gwinnett. There's a plan for that. There's a plan for those. So that's how my year is going. The podcast, Good Morning Gwinnett, the news site, Good Morning Gwinnett, and the bookpreneur. That's the plan. Those are my things. But that's under my company, which is called Noise Media Network. I have a media company. So that is my entire business. That's why I say my bookpreneur is a side hustle under the brand of Noise Media Network. Good Morning Gwinnett is another part of Noise Media Network. The Good Morning Gwinnett podcast is another part of Noise Media Network, all under one umbrella. My company is an LLC. Noise Media Network is an LLC with all these different arms. The Bookpreneur is one of them. So you have to figure out what you want to do, what you want to give up, how you want to proceed this year, what you want to accomplish this year. And I know somebody's just now, stopping to say, well, I don't know what I want to do, Audrey. I have no idea. I'm tired already and we just started the year. Somebody's saying, hey, thanks for that. Now it's giving me something to think about. What exactly do I want to do this year? Do I want this to be a business, a hobby, or a side hustle? What am I willing to give up? You willing to give up hanging out with your girls? Because that's what I did. I was a party animal, but I was like, you know what? I got my kids. I'm a single mom. I got to go get to this bag. Back then, we weren't saying bag though. I got to go get this paper. That's what we were saying. Got to go get this paper so I could take care of my baby. So I gave up everything. I gave up shopping. I was a shopaholic. I love shopping. Like shoes was I don't like grocery shopping. I never liked grocery shopping, but clothes shopping, every week I was shopping. I was shopping so bad. So my brother told my mother, you need to get her some help. Something is wrong with her. He thought I was a shopaholic. I was, but I wasn't really. And I gave that up. My hair, my nails, every week. My stylist was this guy. His name was Carlos. He was a Spanish guy. He used to do my hair. Every Friday I was getting my hair done. Every week I was getting my nails done. I was shopping. I was partying 4 days out the week. Literally Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I partied. I gave it all up. Me and my friends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm partying. We're at the club. But I gave all of that up to follow my dream. You know, I gave up being beautiful. I remember, and I'm gonna go in a second, but I remember my daughter. I remember my mom telling my daughter when she was probably about 18 or 19. Ooh, your mother used to wear some beautiful clothes. She's a shop all the time. So my daughter says, what happened? And I said, I had you and I had a dream. That's what happened. When you have kids in a dream, nothing else matters after that. Nothing. Those were the most important things in my life. My kid and my dream. Those were the things that kept me going. Those were the things that made me sacrifice my kid and my dream. And so I said to her, I had you and I had a dream. You know, to shop. I couldn't do all of that stuff. I had to give up something. I had to stop partying. What are you willing to give up for your dream? What are you willing to give up to be a bookpreneur? What are you willing to give up to build your legacy? I'm just asking a question. Listen, it's January 1. This is just the beginning of a new year. What you gonna give up for what you want, what you claim you want? Because some people say they want it. I call it a claim. Because do you really want it? Are you really willing to make the sacrifice? Are you? I'm just asking a question. You got to ask yourself that very same question. All right. All right. That's all I got for y'all today. I gotta go because it is New Year's, and I'm gonna take it down right now. Relax. Watch some football with my husband, some bowl games and all that kind of stuff. But I'll be back again with another great episode. And I hope that this has triggered you to think about what are you willing to give up to become a bookpreneur. It's a lot of fun, a lot of work, but a lot of fun. Until next time, my friends, until next time, make it a great day. Bye, everybody.
Want to unlock the secrets to book publishing success? Tune in to the Bookpreneur with Audrey Bell-Kearney. Welcome to the Bookpreneur. Hosted by Audrey Bell-Kearney, an accomplished author of 7 books and a seasoned entrepreneur with 27 years of experience. This weekly show is your ticket to the innovative world of book publishing. From traditional publishing to ebooks, low-content gems, and even coloring books, Audrey covers it all. Each week, she chats with a diverse range of authors and creators, revealing the secrets to their success and how they turned pages into profits. Whether you're an aspiring author, a seasoned writer, or a book enthusiast, the Bookpreneur offers insights and inspiration to help you monetize your literary passion. Audrey is also the CEO of Noise Media Network, known for the Good Morning Georgia and Good Morning Gwinnett podcasts. Join us on the Bookpreneur and discover how you can thrive in the ever-evolving literary economy. Subscribe now, and let's turn your love for books into a profitable adventure.